Good morning. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Sunday School Review. This week's Sunday School lesson is entitled Trust in God Alone. It's taken from Psalms 62, verses 1 through 12. That is Psalms 62, verses 1 through 12. Okay, this lesson here, this particular song, is a song of David. And this song is reflecting a period in his life where he was facing trouble, where he was facing a difficult situation. His life was being threatened, and he wrote this particular song. In this song, or in this lesson, there are three outlines. The first outline is verses 1 through 3, and it's entitled Waiting in Silence. That is Psalm 62, verses 1 through 4. I said 3, 1 through 4 is our first outline. Our second outline is security in God. That is verses 5 through 9. And the third outline is recognizing God's power. That is verses 10 through 12. Now, as I said, this song is about David is in trouble. He's facing a threatening situation in his life. And he is writing this song, and in the first part, he's asserting that his trust is in the Lord alone. That's our subject, trust in God alone. And this first outline is waiting in silence. And that is verses 1 through 4. Verses 1 through 4, waiting in silence. And let's read our first set of scriptures. Verse 1 says, Truly my soul waiteth unto God. From him cometh my salvation. Verse 2, He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. Verse 3 says, How long will ye imagine mischief against me? Ye shall be slain, all of you, as a Bowen wall shall ye be, and a tottering fence. Verse 4, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they shall curse inwardly. Now, let's go back and explain these verses here. In the first verse, David is saying here, basically, he is patiently waiting in silence. Not waiting and complaining, but waiting in silence. It says, my soul waited. Truly my soul waited upon God. And David is asserting here in verse 1 that he is my salvation. And it's going to talk about other things that God is. God is his salvation. David is asserting the fact that God is my salvation. So David in this song is expressing the fact that he has his complete trust in God alone. And he's patiently waiting. Not waiting, complain, but patiently waiting on God. And verse 2 says, he only is my rock and my salvation. He's my defense. I shall not be moved. In other words, I shall not be shaken. Okay, now the word here in verse 2, he's my rock. Now that's a perfect symbol of God. A rock. He's a rock. Now a rock symbolizes stability. A rock symbolizes strength. A rock symbolizes dependability. And so that's a perfect symbol for God. He is a dependable source. He is powerful, and he represents stability. There's scripture that say he's a rock in a river land. So he's our rock. He should be our rock, a dependable source. So that's what God represents here, according to David. And he should be that in our lives as well. So verse 1, he's my rock, he's my salvation, he's my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. In other words, my confidence is in God's ability to protect me. In other words, I have complete confidence. I have 100% confidence that God is able to deliver me. He's able to protect me. Okay, this is what David is saying, and should be true for us. This should be our sentiment. He is able to protect us. He's able to rescue us. So our complete confidence should be in God and God alone. Okay, and we're going to talk about other things that in the lesson that people put their trust in, which is not dependable, is only temporary. So God is a rock. We should put our complete confidence in him to protect us. And this is what David is saying in verse 2. Now, verse 3 says, how long will ye imagine mischief against me? So in other words, David he's being chased, okay? Okay, he's being attacked. He's under attack at this particular time. Now, is it how long? Well, we don't know, and he didn't know, but he is not going to give up his confidence in God. He's going to wait patiently for him to come to his assistance. Okay, let's look at other clauses in verse 3. Ye be slain, all of you. Now, he's talking about his enemies. David is talking about his enemies as a bowing wall or as a leaning wall. Now, his enemies attack him, and our enemies attack us at our most vulnerable state. When we talking about a leaning wall, now leaning wall, you generally don't build a wall and it's leaning, okay? A leaning wall represents weakness. It doesn't represent strength, it represents weakness. This wall is about to topple over because it's leaning already. Okay, so David is saying when he was at his most vulnerable state, and that's when the enemy attacks us. The enemy always exploits. It's just like a football team, a basketball team. The opponent, they want to exploit your weakness. If they can find a weakness in your game, they're going to exploit that. Because they want to win. So the enemy, your enemy, when they see a weakness in you, that's when they exploit you. So David's enemy was attacking him, was exploiting his weakness. But at the weak point, that's when they attack. But David maintained his trust and his confidence in God, because God is the only one that could help him. This is the subject, trusting God alone. He's the only one that could help him. That's what David realized. And we should realize that God is the only one that can help us in our weakness. He's the only one. There's no other one that we can turn to. So his enemies and our enemies attacked us at our most weakest or vulnerable situation, our most vulnerable time. Let's look at verse 4. They only consult to cast him down from his excellence. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Now, there is, I believe it's a secular song that says, they smile in your face and stab you in your back. I think it's some smiling face or something like that. They smile in your face, but all the time they stab you in your back. Now, that's not a friend. That's an enemy. Even if they claim to be your friend, that's really not a friend. They're your enemy. Your enemies stab you in the back. They may not laughing. They may frown in your face and stab you in the back. That's an enemy. Even if a person smiles in your face, but yet they stab you in the back, that's an enemy. They're not a friend, they're an enemy. So what David said is in verse 4, they delight in lies, they bless with their mouth. Oh, they bless you. Oh man, I'm so glad to see you. How you been doing? So-and-so, so-and-so. But then behind you, your back, they talk about you. Well, that's my friend. No, it's not. It's your enemy. A friend would not stab you in your back. As David said here, they bless with their mouth. You know what? They smile in your face, but they curse inwardly. You know what? They stab you in the back. That is an enemy. There are only two classes. You're either a friend or an enemy. Okay? So that describes an enemy. Whether they smile it in your face or not, if they stab you in the back, that's an enemy. Okay, so that's what David said in verse 4. They take advantage of your vulnerability. Now, clearly, a friend wouldn't take advantage of your vulnerability, of your vulnerability. No. But the enemy will, your opponent will. That's what you do in a rivalry. You exploit your opponent's weakness. You take advantage of their weakness. Well, when you go on the field, you know your rival. You're not, are we on the same team? You say, what? Are we on the same team? We're not on the same team. We're on different teams. Okay, our objective is counter. My objective is to win. Your objective, we both can't win. No. So verse 4 says, like the smiling faces, but all the time they stab me in the back. That's what your enemies do. That's that's the first outline, waiting in silence. And you're not waiting, complain, you're waiting patiently. As verse 1 said, truly my soul waited. You waiting patiently on God to relieve you, to rescue you, because you know that's the only source that you have. That's the only help you have. Okay, the second outline is security in God. That's verses 5 through 9. Okay, let's read those verses. It says, my soul wait thou only unto God, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. Now, okay, you said, oh, we read that. No. verses 1 and 2 of this song says the same thing as verses, well, 5 and 6 is saying the same thing as 1 and 2. David is just repeating it and it's wording it different. That's the only thing. It's the same thing. He's just repeating what he said in verses 1 and 2, just using different words, okay? So, but let's look at it again. My soul wait only on God, for my expectation is from him. So, David, and we have to encourage our soul. So David is encouraging his soul. My soul wait only upon God, for my expectation is from him. Verse 6, he only is repeating the same thing. He only is my rock, no one else. He's my salvation. He's my defense. I shall not be moved. So David has total, complete confidence in God. Complete and total confidence in God, because he's the only one. And I will patiently wait. I will encourage my soul, and I will patiently wait for his deliverance. Let's read verse 7. In God is my salvation, my glory, the rock of my strength, and my refuge is in God. So now we have a guarantee. We have a guarantee that God will rescue us. Many cases, he said, God will not leave us. He will not abandon us. That is a guarantee. That is a guarantee. Now, when you buy products or new products especially, they come with what is called a warranty or a guarantee that if the product is defective, it will be, that defect will be remedied. Now, the guarantee that the merchants give us may not be as worthy, as trustworthy, because sometimes you get a warranty guarantee and they say, well, yeah, it's out of warranty. You did this and you voided the warranty. But the warranty, the guarantee that we have from God, he will never leave us. He will never forsake us. He will never abandon us. So we have a guarantee. It may not be on our time, but he will come to our rescue. He will come to our rescue. And so we have to trust, put our complete trust in him that he will never abandon us. Verse 8, it says, trust in him at all times. Now, when we get to verse 8, verse 1 through 7 was talking about David said, he said, he's my rock. I will, basically. He said, I will do this. I will put my total confidence in God. I will do this. Now, when we get to verse 8, he shifts here. He said, trust in him at all times, ye people. In other words, he's focusing now on others. He's encouraging others to trust. It's just like when you find a good deal, you may tell others, I've tried it and it's good. It works. So in verse 8, he shifts. He's saying, trust him at all times, ye people. He's encouraging others to put their total trust in God. Trust in him, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. He's talking, he's giving encouragement. So basically, he's encouraging us to put our trust in God. In other words, I put my trust in God. I tried him. He has never failed me. So put your trust in God. Let's go to verse 9. Surely men of low degree are vanity, men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in a balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Now, let's check this out. We got men of low degree, and we got men of high degree that's got power, prestige, and money. So what he's saying is to gather all them up, gather men of low degree and gather men of high degree, the men that have the power, the prestige, and the money, and put them all in a balance. And let's see what it says. All together, they are lighter than vanity. So basically what he's saying is that everybody, and there's another scripture that says it, the whole world, the rich, the poor, the powerful, the whole world all together is nothing. So why are you going to get puffed up because you got a little bit of money, got a little bit of power? It's all temporarily. It's all vanity. Put it all together. Put the rich and poor together and put them in a balance, and you got nothing. As verse 9 said, surely men of low degree are vanity, men of high degree are alive. To be laid in a balance, they all together are lighter than vanity, or nothing. If that be the case, you put the rich and the poor all together, and it won't move the scale. Verse 10 says, and that's the second outline. So the first outline is 5 through 9. So verse 10 starts the third outline. The third outline is recognizing God's power, which incidentally, God's power is the only power. There's no power but of God. Okay. That's why the powerful is nothing. If the powerful have all power, then God don't have any power. God, if God got all power, that trumps everything else. Let's go to the last outline. Recognizing God's power. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. So basically, David said, don't trust in riches. Now we know people trust in riches, yes. You know, Bible said money is a defense and all that, but it's only temporarily. Riches cannot buy salvation. If you're poor, you can't buy salvation. If you're rich, you can't buy salvation. It'd be another thing if you was poor, you couldn't buy salvation, but if you're rich, you could buy salvation. No, you can't buy salvation even if you're rich. As it relates to salvation, riches profit nothing. Okay, and it's only temporary. Okay, so don't trust in riches, and don't not vain in robbery. Set not your heart on those things. This is what not to trust in. You're not to trust in riches. You're not to trust in power, because again, power is only temporary. I mean, you had people, we don't have a king that ruled forever, you know, until they die. In our country, there are countries that have and had kings, but their reign ended at some point in time. You don't have a king that's been reigning for thousands of years. No. So riches and power is only temporary. It's only temporary. Let's go to verse 11. God has spoken once, twice, and I've heard this. that power belonged to God. The ultimate power belonged to God. Absolute power belonged to God. We talk about the rich and powerful. The absolute power is God. Now, if you, I mean, God's got all power. Man don't have all power. It's God has all powerful, all power, and the riches. And even in this society, no man have all the riches either. You said that 1% control what? If it's 1%, 1% control 99% of the wealth. That may be true, but they don't have all the wealth. They can't have all the wealth because I got a little bit of money. Okay, so that they might have everybody wealth, but mine ain't got mine, so they don't have all the wealth. But that is, in the final analysis, is vanity anyway. That will vanish away. Let's I think we read, let's read 11 again. God has spoken once, twice have I heard that power belong unto God. Let's read 12, which is the last word. Also unto thee, O Lord, belongeth mercy, for thou renders to every man according to his works. Mercy and power belong to God. God has absolute power. So as we, in this last outline, he's telling you, put your trust in God, who has all power. Don't trust in riches, because riches will fade. Riches will, the scripture that tells you, lay up treasures in heaven, not on earth, where moths and thieves and things can't take it. I mean, people all the time trying to swindle you out of your money. There's so many scams and it's all about trying to get your money, get your wealth. And many people are successful. Probably they steal billions of dollars from people probably every year. Riches, money, power. People obtain power through corrupt means. But it said, don't seek riches and power. Don't seek that. Put your trust in God, who has absolute power, who has all power and mercy. So David is encouraging us, as well as he said, this is what I do. I put my trust, I have a complete confidence in God. And as I said, starting at verse 8, he's saying, ye people, trust in God in all times, whatever situation you are encountering, whatever situation you are going through, put your trust in God, not man, not riches, because those things will fail you. God will never fail us, and he has absolute power. If I'm going to trust in somebody with power, I want to trust in somebody that has all power, not just some power, all power. And God, the power rests with God. If you want to look at it this way, the power that we have, the riches that we have, are only temporary. It's not true riches. True riches is not silver and gold. Really, true riches is not silver and gold. True riches is found in the heavenlies, not in the earthlies, because what's in the earthly is going to vanish away one day. Okay, there's a scripture that says, what you do for Christ will last. That's permanent. I'd rather something permanent than temporary any day. Now, you might get a 99-year lease on land. 99 years, that's a long time, but that's not permanent. The 99 years will end one day. But if you have a permanent lease on land, if you have something permanent, that's forever. So I would rather something that's permanent than something that's temporary any day. And this is our lesson. It says, trust in God and God alone, because he is the ultimate source of power. And he's the ultimate source of our rescue. We'd like to thank you for watching. We ask you to join us next week for another edition of the Sunday School Review. Thank you.